Good evening and happy week off, partially for Atlanta United folks.
Mm-hmm.
It is the beginning of Leagues Cup week. It's the beginning of Women's World Cup week and a lot of other things going on that we're going to talk about. But I'm Tyler Pilgrim here alongside Sydney and Tommy. How you guys doing?
Doing well. I mean, it's busy next couple of days. I mean, the All-Star game is happening like a half hour from right now when we're recording. I mean, we're live obviously at 7, but for you podcast folks, you'll be hearing this when the All-Star game is over. And then, as you said, Women's World Cup this week. U.S. Women's National Team in action on Friday morning or Friday night, I should say, against Vietnam. And then Leagues Cup starting on Friday. So, like you said, a very full week. Tommy, what is up?
All the soccer.
All of
the
it.
soccer. Every
I was trying to catch up on the.
bit.
I was trying to catch up on the skills competition. It's just so weird. All-Star, I just wonder, like it looked fun, like what Almada did, playing skee ball or whatever. Like that's cool. But, like you think, like people from other countries just come here and you walk onto the field and you just see this gigantic skee ball thing up there, and you're thinking to yourself, "The hell have I got myself into?"
What are we
It's
doing?
American
here?
soccer, baby.
You know what I was really surprised to hear about last night was Aaron Ramsdale, Arsenal goalkeeper, talking about how he used to play goalie wars when he was a kid. He was like, I haven't played that since I was like 10 years old. And here, like the All-Star Skills Challenge is like one of the things that they brought back, which was fun, by the way. It was really fun to watch, actually. I enjoyed it a lot more than I think I have in the past. The whole thing, the whole
Do they bring
shebang.
it back?
Huh?
Do they bring it back?
I would love for them to do it in some shape, form, or fashion.
I think they probably do.
I
I'd
like
be up
it.
for it. I'll admit I didn't watch much of it last night or a Tuesday night. I had some other plans going on at that time, but I hear it went well, and I saw like the video of the skee ball thing with Almada. So yeah, it sounded like a fun night. But like I said, All-Star game going on, not right now, but will be on Wednesday night, and then Leagues Cup, Women's World Cup this week. So a lot to get to, even though Atlanta United are on break.
Yeah. We have a packed show tonight, actually, which is strange because it is Atlanta's week off. But we're going to get a quick recap. We're not going to talk too much about it because we've probably beat the dead horse enough already. But we're going to talk about Orlando. We're going to talk about the Leagues Cup in general. Obviously, we have a big month ahead of us. Not just us, Atlanta. Who knows how it's going to go for Atlanta. But Messi making his intro in the Leagues Cup. So he might have a trophy in MLS already by the end of the month. Who knows? We're going to be having the Battered Herons on, which is an Inter Miami podcast. They're good friends of the show. Tommy's been on there a couple times. They're going to come on. We're going to have a good time with them and probably give them a little bit of crap about, roster rules and everything else. And we've got some Atlanta United news to discuss. We'll hit on the skills challenge, the All-Star game, probably give you guys some updates as it's going on. We'll have it in the background. And it's gonna be busy. So
I don't know. Do we win? I know we kind of took notes about what we're going to talk about. Do we want to have on these first, or leave that after the Herring guys get on?
I can run through the news real quick. There's not a lot of news, relatively speaking. And then we'll get to. I see some of you guys already asking in the chat. Do y'all think we'll make it out of the group? Other things like that. We want you guys to definitely dive into the chat tonight because it'll be us. It'll be the Battered Herons on as well. So it'll be a fun show. So we definitely want to get you guys involved. News.
Guys, there's new breaking news.
What is the breaking news?
Doug Roberson says we signed Rossi.
Oh, did he now?
Really?
No.
Exactly. Doug, look.
Doug has been this whole thing. Like people are so mad because Doug's just saying this transfer is not happening. There's no way.
I'm still holding out hope because I don't know Doug's reasoning behind just shooting it down. I haven't talked to him about it. I probably should, but I don't know if it's because of like a roster rule thing that he was under the impression of or whatever, or if he has somebody at the club saying, no, we're not doing that. Either way, it ain't 100%.
It'd be a great move.
100%. I'm gonna hold out for it
Yeah.
until Atlanta United comes out and says it ain't happening or this transfer window's over with.
Yeah, he was incredibly
Well, they
productive
kind of
with
did.
LAFC, but
What do you mean they
Did you
kind of
hear?
did?
You
no,
heard, right?
What did I hear?
no.
I didn't hear.
Oh, so Carlos was on the pregame show before
Oh,
the Orlando game with the guys, and like he brought it up. He said, "Oh, like it would be hard to bring him in." Like I feel like if you're actually interested in him, the way Atlanta United does it, they're not going to talk about it.
maybe. Or there's always the thought process of you don't want to give too much information, or even come out and act like you're not interested to keep the price from getting driven up. I don't
Maybe.
know.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'd be in favor of it, I should say. He's been incredibly successful or he was incredibly successful with LAFC, and I mean, didn't win a championship there, but part of that team that won Supporter Shield, and I believe broke the record for most points in NHL, MLS history. So he knows what it takes to win. He's been with a winning organization, and yeah, I mean, it would seem that this move wouldn't be happening, but I mean, stranger things have happened. I mean, we could see maybe a 180. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I
Zill
don't know.
said, "Shut up, Tommy. We're getting Rossi."
I'm not against it. I just love the drama. I love the Twitter drama. Like we have no game this week, so let's just
Hashtag
watch.
transfer drama. Yeah.
Silly season. It is, but
Yeah.
Doug's been pretty passionate about it. So like, if this happens, oh boy, oh boy.
Hey, here's the thing: you win some, you lose some. It be what it be. Um, you've got people from Turkey coming out saying like that teams are interested, right? You have, I mean, of course, it's broad. There is one account that admittedly has a ton of followers. It says it's Atlanta United that's interested. Who knows? I don't know. That's the thing about this. This is why I don't, unless it's something very specific that I can talk about. I'm not coming out saying like yes or no or anything like that. Like if I've got information like an agent says, hey, yeah, like for sure, put it out there. You got a process you got to go through, right? Um, if Doug has something that he knows specifically for sure that is not happening, I mean, that's his prerogative. That's how he's going to handle it. But at the end of the day, this interest I don't think came out of nowhere, right? I don't think this was just like all of a sudden Atlanta is interested in Rossi. Like that's not typically how this works. I don't think some guy in Turkey at the club was like, hey, let's pick that one team that's been floundering for the past 3.5 years and be like, yeah, they've got money. Let's see if they want to do something. Like that's just not really, I think, how anybody works around the world in terms of transfers. So I don't know.
Yeah. Speaking of transfers, right before he came on, I saw that it's not Atlanta United related, but Nashville SC had turned down an offer for Henny Mukhtar from a Saudi Arabian club for $7 million. So either they feel that they could get a better price elsewhere, or they want nothing to do with Saudi Arabia and all the crap that's going on over there. The Saudi club would be willing to pretty much have Henny write his own check if he were over there because of all the money they have. But yeah, apparently it's not happening. So
And
yeah, that
Haney
is
also
off
came
the
out and said
table.
he wanted to stay in MLS. So I think that's a big
Yeah,
factor.
yeah, looking for an extended deal with Nashville. So
Yeah.
I think that speaks to the quality of MLS. I think a lot of people dog it, but I think that speaks to the quality. Him wanting to kind of stay here and put down roots here in the United States. I mean, if a Bundesliga team comes calling, maybe lower of the table, I mean that could change the equation a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, Henny looking like he's staying in MLS for now. But outside of that, outside of the Diego Rossi thing, outside of the Saba thing, we haven't had any transfer rumors for Atlanta United this window as of yet. I mean, of course, we have Tristan Muyamba, who's here already, waiting for his visa. So that's one incoming signing, or that's already here. Then Saba Lemonije, haven't heard much about that.
Yeah, that kind of
Rossi,
hit, and then
so-
Diego Rossi took over, and then
yeah,
it was like, hey, who Saba who? But I wouldn't count that
Yes.
out yet. right? I don't think that's gone. I don't know though. We'll see. But here's the thing: as far as because we'll stick on the transfer rumor topic for a second, and then I'll hit the other news. They've come out publicly. Everybody, Bocanegra, Lagerway, both on the radio. Pineda has said it to us at training. Like they're looking for 1 to 2 more players now that you've got Muyumba in here, right? The League's Cup roster came out today. Muyumba's on it, and I think it might have been Zilf. Zilf, I'm going to call you out. Correct me if I'm wrong. It might have been Zilf, might have been James, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, somebody did point out, rightfully so, that Atlanta has used up 28 of their 30 roster spots for the League's Cup. So you've got 2 open ones there. Yeah. Who are those going to be for? Because here's the thing. You make your roster, but that doesn't mean, like, for example, Nick Firmino. And this is a question that kind of popped up today. Okay, Zilf, it was you. Holla. So.
Did you say holla?
Holla. I did say holla.
He said holla.
I did say holla. Jeez, this is the way the show's going to go today. I'm just letting you know. So Firmino, as an example, we all know how much everybody's been wanting him to be on the first team. You also understand that you have the 4 MLS call-ups a year. Then they can play in 2 MLS games. And what I had to clarify today, and I asked the club specifically because I wanted to know for sure, 4 call-ups for a guy like Nick Firmino, right? Because I think Nick Firmino is the name that everybody's most interested in. Mm-hmm. But this applies to Brennan, Cobb, like a handful of others. So Nick Firmino can get called up 4 times in the entire year by the first team, period. That doesn't matter what.
Including League's Cup?
Including
League's competition? Okay.
Which is weird, but it's for the whole thing, the whole shebang. So out of the times that he is called up, out of those 4, he can play twice in an MLS game. So that doesn't count towards the League's Cup. So he's got, I think, 2 call-ups left, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's just so, I know it's confusing as crap. Yeah. I think he's got 2 call-ups left. He could get called up during this window and play one of the games, either Miami or Cruz Azul, or they could try to save him until they make it out of the group, if they make it out of the group. If he plays in that match, it doesn't count towards his actual time MLS playing in MLS.
Yeah. Now that only happens if there's a full moon during the call-up, and it's the summer solstice.
You gotta hold your tongue sideways. Yeah, and like jump up and
just
down.
Trying to figure out there's something else,
Turn the lights off.
You got to play like Dixieland Delight in the background
5 times.
If his birthday's on an even year, then it does the call-up doesn't. It's so ridiculous. Get out of here, MLS. Please, please just make it make sense. Make the salary cap make sense, please, because we all really want to know about it. Because we got a bunch of cheaters coming on here in a couple minutes to talk to us about how Miami's cheating. We're just going to throw it out there. I hope they're listening. I'm ready for it.
Don't degrade our guests, Tommy. Come on. Be nice.
But we're going in on this one. This is the way.
No. These guys deserve it. We'll have fun with them.
I agree. Messi aside, and we'll talk about that later with the Van Herens guys. Messi aside, the MLS rules are just incredibly convoluted. It's just insane. So hopefully those change. And I know there have been stories about ESPN talking about MLS rules and how really archaic they are. So hopefully those change. And
President Chip saying it perfectly.
Change, yeah.
MLS. Wait, ESPN talked about it?
Well, it is an opinion article. It's an article.
Oh, okay.
Not a news hit or anything like that. But
I thought they gave up on MLS.
No, yeah, right. But well, Messi's coming. That's why they care.
Right.
But no. I mean, I think everyone agrees the MLS rules are just very, very not conducive to the league's not conducive to the league's long-term growth, and things really do have to change. So, yeah, I'm sure we'll talk about that at length, not only with the Van Herens guys, but throughout the next few weeks and months, and going to 2024, I'm sure. But yeah,
my favorite part about today was the fact I don't even want to say, like, I should save this until the Battered Herons guys are on. But Miami, they put out their roster today, and it has a player on it that they haven't even publicly come out and officially signed yet.
Yeah, was it Alba?
Dude, it cracks me up.
Was it Jordy Alba? I didn't see it.
Yeah, it was Alba.
Well, guess that's happening. I'm sure.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll have the Battered Herons crew coming on in about 15 minutes, I think, talking Inter Miami, Lionel Messi, and more.
Quick news.
What else we got?
And this is we went out of order here, but that's okay. So obviously we know All-Star Week is happening now. You had the skills challenge last night, which we'll talk about in a second, because you have this kid named Almada who went out there and actually showed the rest of MLS up. To be fair, Denny Boanga killed it last night and everything he was a part of. Christian Benteke, not so much. He was pretty rough, and Jesus Ferreira pretty rough. But Almada, you can shout out Atlanta. Atlanta represented well last night in the skills challenge. I was super proud of that.
Good.
So we'll hit on kind of what he did, but the other All-Star game that's going on today, obviously the main one, but you also had the MLS Next All-Star game. Sean Lanza and Rocket Rita both represented Atlanta United this morning. What a name.
Rita.
This morning at, I think it was 10:30 when they kicked off. They're the second pairing in 2 years to represent MLS Next Pro, because last year it was Noah Cobb and my mind just went blank on who the other one was, and we've been talking about them on this show before. Anyway, you've had two each year, so that's I think it was Gordon. Anyway, Atlanta's being represented well at this All-Star game in both sides of it. So unfortunately, the West one was not our guys' day. They got up 2-0 in the first half, gave up 2 in the second half, and then lost on penalties. So
yeah,
but kudos to them for making it.
Sipich from Nashville scoring twice in the first half for the East. Rudisill for LA Galaxy in the 70th, and Liboa from LAFC the 89th minute, right before the final whistle. So, well, not final whistle, but right before, the final whistle. So went straight to penalties after that, and then West won 5-4. But good to see Sean and Rocket getting out there. And again, a lot of young kids coming through the ranks for MLS Next Pro, and then below that the Academy. So really good to see those guys get out there. Unfortunately, their team lost, but still a great experience to take back to them to Atlanta.
And it's bragging rights. It's a big deal. So, and then the other kind of other side Atlanta news, Paulo Neto, who, if you guys follow any of the EMLS stuff, he has killed it over the past few years. He's killed it. He won the MLS competition. He just won for Brazil, the international competition, like 2 days before he went to the FIFA E-World Cup. And then he had the hangover, unfortunately. He got out there. It was in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And he just he struggled. And he struggled. He got grouped, unfortunately. So he is on his way back home already. But the dude does not lack talent, for sure. I've seen the guy play a lot. I don't know how much folks typically follow it, but the dude can play some FIFA for sure. So super happy for him. I hate that it happened to where he was out so quickly, but hey, it's Atlanta United news. The guy's brought more trophies than the other teams have in the past 2 years. We got to talk about it.
That's actually not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
It is, as harsh as that is, it's not wrong. But
hey, got to point it out. The dude's a baller though. I like Paulo. We need to get him on the show one day.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure I would not do well against him. Like, he could probably just name a scoreline against either of us, and
dude, I'm not
drag us.
I'm not one to sit here and brag about how good I am at FIFA. I'll play some Halo, I'll play some Call of Duty, but FIFA is not my game like that. I play FIFA to just have fun.
Tommy, what's your game of choice these days?
I'm pretty good at FIFA. I've gotten better. Like I played James, one of our listeners on here a few times. I know we played once, and I think he was messing with me. But like I think like when I play my seasons, I play on like the second hardest difficulty. My favorite FIFA story, real quick. My buddy, like he loves FIFA. He got me into playing it. He kept playing and like he was playing on easy, like one of the easier modes. So like he would like be screaming and yelling, like telling his wife how good he was at FIFA. And I'm like, but you're playing on easy. One day he goes to the bathroom and I changed all his settings on his season. So he comes back, like a couple weeks later, and I go, "Oh, I haven't heard about your season." He's like, "I don't know, man. This game got like really hard because he gets all the extra money. He signs like every person he wants, so he has like a stacked team. He's got like he's got Saudi money, and he's paying for every single player out there." And he goes, "It's just getting really hard lately." And I didn't realize I turned it on the second hardest mode possible. And he just couldn't. I think he just thought he sucked. He's like, I had to put the controller down. I actually stopped him from playing FIFA for like a good couple weeks there because he was getting a little frustrated. So I was like a proud person when he told me that story.
You guys watch Mark Goldbridge, right? His videos.
I don't know who that is. No.
Yeah, look him up. He's a big Manchester United supporter, but he has.
I have seen him.
Channel. Yeah, you probably have. Like,
is he the one that like goes off?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's yeah. We gotta get Tommy to interview him sometime. Two of them talking about Man United and their travails over the past few years and whether or not they can actually win something this year, 23-24.
I don't know, Tommy. I don't know if it's gonna be that year for you.
It's always our year.
Okay. How long?
Your year for what?
Getting back. I mean, we're in Champions League. That's all you really need right now.
All that matters.
Yeah.
So real quick, Tommy, who did you interview the other day?
On our YouTube channel we have an interview for this Jake. He is from the band the Mayday Parade, pop punk band. Super into Atlanta United. He went to the U.S. Open Cup championship game. Follows the team real hard. He knows about all the weird MLS rules. We talked about that. We talked about Messi coming in and talked about the struggles of Atlanta United and how he follows the team while he's on tour. He's a super huge soccer fan in general. Like, he was actually a Galaxy fan for a long time, and he's from Atlanta, and he decided to start following him from the beginning, and here we are. Yeah, good interview. Take a listen.
Go check it out. It's over on the YouTube. Not a Patreon thing.
Yeah,
I tried to interview Fallout Boy yesterday for Doug. Like, see if I could set something up, and didn't work.
If you could ever get Doug to just say anything positive about Fallout Boy, I'll give you $50.
I never want to say anything positive about Fallout Boy after last night. I had to take like a 2-hour nap before this just to make this on time and stay awake. So
you and your concerts, man.
I only got 2 more for the year. 2 more.
That Yellow Carbon was pretty sweet, though. I'm not gonna lie.
It was fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
We got a lot. By the way, kind of switching gears, we got a lot coming up. Now we're talking about Leagues Cup, Women's World Cup. I think we got some watch-alongs coming up, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, we're gonna do a watch-along for the Miami game on Tuesday, and then I think we've confirmed this. We're gonna do a watch-along on Wednesday for the U.S. Women's match. So that's at 9 p.m. right?
Against the Dutch, yes, 9 p.m.
It's gonna be a big game.
That was the final. Yeah, that was the final 4 years ago.
Yeah,
and
that was a crazy game too.
Match where Roosevelt actually absolutely went crazy. A fellow Ohio native, Tommy, by the way, as you noted to me on Twitter the other day. But yeah, that incredible goal, really iconic goal for Rose. And yeah, we'll have a watch along for that on next Wednesday, a week from
fun story about that match actually. So back in 2019 during the last Women's World Cup, we went to go watch Atlanta United play the Red Bulls. And that was one of the best matches in terms, like, if you were a neutral, it was fun. Like, for Atlanta, it was really irritating because they ended up drawing 3-3. It was one of those where it was like, oh, we should have beat them like we did in the playoffs the year before. And it was wild. It had a little bit of everything. It had the late goals, the very late goals, Atlanta giving up the late goal to end up drawing instead of winning. But they actually let you come into the bins like 3 hours early, and you could go in, get your seats, and you could watch the final on the Halo board up at the top. So we got to watch the whole match up on the Halo board. It was really neat. It was super cool. So got to celebrate that day. It was cool. I liked it.
It's a long day though, like because people that go in, like I'm sure they sell alcohol in there, so you're drinking all day there. You're watching that game and then taking a break. And I just remember I went out for brunch and I think watched the game and then just came home and finished watching that game. I was already in the bag before that game even started. So
yeah,
I can only imagine watching it in there and that atmosphere.
You guys think they'll win it again this year?
Yeah, I do.
I don't. Yeah,
I don't. They got a lot of injuries. A
lot of youth.
Yeah, I mean, if they do win, it really just shows you it's a testament to how they've gotten their younger players ready for this moment, for sure. But because they have been missing some of these veterans and some of them are just coming off the injury list, it's going to be tough. But if they do it, I mean, I think it's a much more impressive win than 4 years ago, for sure.
Yeah.
I actually had a chance to go to a couple of group stage matches when I was in France in 2019. So I saw the Sweden match at Parc des Princes in Paris, and then
that's cool.
the Metz against Chile at Le Havre. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool experience. But yeah, I don't know if they're going to win, to be honest with you.
I'm calling it.
We'll
I
see.
think they will.
We'll see.
Granted, in the past 4 years, the quality of the women's game in general in this world has gone up immensely. So it's not going to be a cakewalk by any means. If they don't win, I think they'll show well regardless. So,
speaking of that, real quick, I just read that FIFA this year, we were talking about the FIFA video game, so that made me think of it. You can now play, like, when you're playing, like, the Ultimate Team, so you're collecting the cards, picking your best team. You can have men and women, like, playing on the same team. And there was, like, an article just about how you can't, like, abuse the women, like, because you're gonna see, like, a video of, like, Messi, like, just taking out Rose Lavelle, like, breaking her leg. And
would it be Messi or would it be Ronaldo?
It could be Ibarra for all we know, right? Like, you don't know, but they were talking about how they were, it's all being in there and how they got to make sure that those videos don't go viral, right? Like, I know the WWE video game, they stopped it, so, like, the men can't fight the women anymore in those games just because you were getting those crazy videos of, like, The Rock just, like, hitting the
I didn't know that was
man with a steel chair, like I'm trying to make at least for people know, like, some of these names that I have, like just hitting her with the steel chair 30 times.
Yeah.
All right. Real quick, because the Battered Herons folks, Daniel and Chris, they are waiting patiently, so we'll get them in 1 second. I'm going to go through just a couple things from the chat. I'm just trying to scroll back up because, like we said before, we obviously, we want you guys to get involved with the conversation. This is, I guess we can ask this one now, and then when the guys get on, they can answer it. All saying, did Miami just get in trouble for contract shenanigans? Actually, that's something that maybe we'll talk to them about in general, just because it's a relevant story. Like we can joke around and everything about this whole Messi and Friends thing, but yes, that was a story. Also included our old friend Paul McDonough, who actually came from Atlanta United before, so it's all relevant. Let's see. Yeah, Bruno saying Kai Havertz won the Spoon Award last night. Kai Havertz was pretty bad in the skills challenge last night. It was pretty rough. For what it's worth, just so you guys know, if you didn't watch it, go watch the videos. From an Atlanta perspective, Almada, he beat the record by 1 second on the passing challenge. I think his first 3 passes were all dead on, and then he had a little bit of trouble hitting the 4th one, and then he hit the final one in 2 shots. So I think he did it in like 27 seconds or something. And then the skee ball thing, which was the first, like the touch challenge, I think, where he honestly, he got shafted. I'm not going to lie, because they you obviously you're getting service from your 2 partners on both sides, and they're sending it in, and they did pretty good. But then they send the last 5 of these orange balls that count double out of like a cannon, or it's like a pitching machine. And they were sending like 2 or 3 over the box, like to where he couldn't even get to it. And I was like, dude, this is messed up.
Collusion.
It is. I don't like it.
Speaking of collusion, I think we're about to talk to some guys that
We
know
are.
a little bit about league collusion, right?
Maybe. Maybe. With that being said, we do appreciate the Battered Herons guys, Daniel, Chris, y'all coming on because look, Tommy's like a freaking regular on y'all's show.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, Tommy one time. We love having Tommy on.
Yeah, Tommy one time is awesome. You guys are awesome too, Sydney and Tyler.
We appreciate
Thanks,
it.
guys. Yeah,
Yeah.
appreciate
So-
it. Thanks
Oh,
for
yeah,
coming on.
Yeah, it was entertaining.
Yeah,
Listening to
yeah,
you guys
thanks for
talk
having
some FIFA. Paul McDonough. I could go without hearing his name ever again. So.
Yeah, it's a little sore subject, I'm sure.
Paul the
I can
Mac.
always go with some FIFA talk. I'll talk FIFA cards with you guys all day and week.
Oh, yes.
That's how I
That's how-
rank players.
That's how we scout on our show.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's not far from what I do in general. If I'm like, hey, Atlanta's getting this guy. I got to go look him up on FIFA and see how he's gonna do.
Exactly. Give us an idea.
Yes.
So introduce yourselves, I guess, to the
Yeah.
folks that may not know you. Just, again, Tommy's been on y'all show a few times, but who y'all be?
Go ahead, Chris. You start off.
Well, I mean, we're the Battered Herons, right? We have a podcast, representing all battered fans throughout the Inter Miami webverse, right? And we're on every Monday and Wednesday at 9:00. And we're happier today than we were a couple weeks ago. I'll say that. Am I wrong there, Danny, or what?
No, we haven't won a game. We're winless in the last 11 weeks or 11 games, I guess. So obviously it hasn't been the best of times, but that last loss on Saturday against St. Louis, I didn't feel it. It's like it never even happened, honestly, because once it was over, you knew that it was less than 24 hours before we got to see Messi in person. Like, we're good. But yeah, we're Monday and Wednesdays, we've been doing this a little over a year now. Obviously it's blown up a little bit since the whole Messi announcement. But yeah, we
Perfect
just
timing.
we're not necessarily reporters. We just we I know there's a lot of reporting. I think that just about all of the Inter Miami podcasts are all have some type of reporting or media person in it. I think it might be the only one that's just solely just fans, and we kind of try to stick in our lane. We don't really want to say that we know anything, even though over the last year you kind of get to know people, so you end up finding a little bit of information here and there. But we don't go out reporting or anything. We just want to have fun, and we're just here to entertain.
Yeah, I've had some interaction with Franco on Twitter,
Franco.
and then Alex.
Benizzo?
Yeah, Franco Benizzo, yeah, and then Alex. Yeah, I've had her on a few times. I had a show before this, like last year or so. Interacted with her, done some things with her regarding Messi and Inter Miami.
You've been talking to the right people, that's for sure.
Yeah, I know.
Alex Winley is great. Franco is awesome. Franco, we constantly give Franco props because Franco is that we like to refer to him as the only pit bull. And I mean, I don't mean to down talk everybody else in that room, but we kind of criticize the reporters for kind of throwing softball questions. Franco's the only one that kind of goes for the jugular, so we appreciate Franco for that.
Yeah, it sounds like you need that, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely something that you need, and now it's going to be probably even more prominent, especially with more reporters being in that room than ever before. I mean, I was going to show you guys a clip. There used to be only like 1 or 2 people just watching practices. Now there's like, you can count the Wu-Tang Clan like 40 times.
There was 200. There was 200 at the live training on Tuesday morning. So going from 5 or 6 to 200, big difference. Huge. So it's definitely been a change over here, but we're all for it, man. I'm welcoming it. I welcome all bandwagon fans, and to an extent, and if you guys want to get into that at some point, we can. But we're happy, man. It's hard to bring us down right now.
Did you go to the Messi presentation?
I went to that mess. I went to that mess. Yeah,
I almost got into a fight with a fan. I mean, it was a free for all Royal Rumble. You were talking about wrestling earlier. It was a disaster.
Yeah, I don't want to completely poo-poo on the franchise and what they tried to do, because I think that they had good intentions and they had something. When you looked at the stages and everything that were set up, it looked like they were trying to do something nice. But it's South Florida in July, and although I haven't seen winds and rain like that in a very long time, it was like the worst case scenario. I mean, it was bad. Like, we had refrigerators flying, we had stages being torn apart. Like, I don't know if it was a Bleacher Report sign that was up there. Maybe they had like a stage or something. But when I saw the letter R was on the floor, the B was dangling off the stage. It was a rough scenario. But all things considered, they managed to get everybody out in the stage at 8:30, which was the time that they were supposed to. They had a concert, even though it was supposed to be before the ceremony. It was after. So they tried their best to put it together. I don't want to completely poop on them, but it definitely could have been better. But it's all due to the elements.
Then you saw David Beckham almost slip on the stage. I don't know if you guys spotted that. I was watching with my girlfriend on Sunday, and Beckham nearly almost slipped.
Yeah, he almost ate it.
Yeah, just the visual presentation wasn't very good. Audio presentation wasn't very good. I mean, there was no sound. Yeah, there's no sound for a good portion of the presentation on stage. But yeah, Messi's in town, and Messi is in South Florida. I want to ask, what are the expectations? I think we all know what the expectations are. So, I guess what even the League's Cup is coming up on Friday. What is Miami's? Yeah, what are Miami's expectations? Not just for League's Cup, but for MLS, and can this team make the playoffs?
And the Open Cup.
Biscuits? Yeah, Open Cup. Yeah, too. Tommy's got his Open Cup T-shirt.
And I'll see. Danny will probably bounce off of this, but the sort of idea, I guess, the feel that I get is everybody's just kind of hanging it up for the season. Nobody really thinks that we're gonna make it far into the playoffs or anything like that. I think at this point, the fan base is just throw all your eggs in the Open Cup basket, right? I mean, League's Cup is up for grabs, right? But Open Cup is where we're deep. We're knee deep in that. So if there's anywhere where we can make sort of an imprint on this league in terms of building up the brand, the U.S. Open Cup is what it is, and all the entire fan base are on board with that. What do you think, Danny?
I think I'm the one that goes back and forth with the fan base the most, because I still think that the playoffs are long from a long shot. I think that they're still attainable. I mean, not to get too much in the weeds, but there's 12 games left, and 7 out of the 12 are against teams that we need a leapfrog to get into that 9th spot. It's not just 7 teams that make it now, it's 9. And we're only 12 games behind, and we have 1 game in hand. I'm not saying that we're going to make it. I'm saying that it's silly that the majority of the fan base, you talk to them, they're like, this league's a wash, just go for the Open Cup. I think that's stupid.
Well, I mean,
it's not a wash.
If there's any group of players at this point that could do it, I mean, y'all pretty much got them there, So
right.
It's not unobtainable. But I think like the number, I don't know. We tried to do the math the other day, but isn't it like just over 2 points per match on average or something that you guys would have to hit? Like 2 point something.
I haven't broken it down that way, but I did look at the numbers. I looked at over the last 10 and over the last 5. I broke it up into 2 ways. The average points for the 9th seed. And I don't have it pulled up right now, but I believe it was in the low 40s. I want to say 41 or 42 points, which we're give or take 24 to 26 points away from. You win 7 out of those 12 games, and you're right there. And if you tell me that Messi and company can't win 7 out of 12 games, I'm not saying they will, but don't tell me that they can't. That's right. All I'm saying. Yeah. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but why is everybody discounting it? And then everybody's like, no, don't worry, the Open Cup. We're playing in Cincinnati against the best team in the league. How is everybody convinced that we're going to be Cincinnati in Cincinnati, but the playoffs are lost? It's like, shut up. Like, you guys sound like nonsensical. It makes absolutely no sense what people are saying to me.
Yeah, people started drinking a little early thinking about that. And I hate Cincinnati, by the way.
That's one of the teams that, like, you get on this podcast and we're like, all right, it's Cincinnati, whatever. We've had a fairly decent run against them in the past, thanks to our good friend Joseph Martinez. Light the candle, Tommy. Scored a goal of the year against them.
I even got the pink lighter for it.
Oh my God!
Nice.
Much appreciated.
Nice touch.
The respect.
Nice touch.
I don't know why Chris hates Cincinnati so much. We hate Orlando.
It's because that goalie is a piece of garbage. Try not to curse on your program.
You're talking about Celentano, right? Not a guy, Alec Khan.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that guy. Oh my
That
goodness.
guy that
I just
came from
couldn't
Atlanta.
stand seeing him get so excited off of a tie. And I get it. You get a tie away, like you're super happy about it, but get out of here with that.
Yeah, no, we get it. Then you get up here and you start trying to talk about, oh, the Red Bulls are cool, or Charlotte's cool, or Nashville's cool. Then I don't know, we might have to start shooting or something. But yeah, Cincinnati or whatever about them. But
Yeah,
for real though, like you guys, all things considered, like you're not out of the running yet. But I mean, you're what, 2 games away? You're in the semifinals of the Open Cup.
Yep,
That could be the quickest way to a trophy for I think anybody to come into this league and play 2 matches and get a trophy. It's wild.
Getting
It
the
is.
Champions League's big for you guys, right? Like,
Well,
that's big for the league too.
That's the ultimate goal, honestly. And Leagues Cup, as long as we end up at the top 3, I think the fan base is happy because we want to play international games next year, especially with the squad that we have.
Yeah.
So that's going back to Sydney with his expectations. I don't know about expectations, but the goal is to somehow qualify for the Champions League, right? Because that's the goal. I think that MLS Cup, even though I don't think this season's a wash yet, I wouldn't say that's necessarily a goal. It's going to take a while for these guys to gel. And let's say hypothetically they don't make it past the first round of the Leagues Cup, they play 2 games and then they're off for another month. So it's going to take them a while to gel. So I think it's good.
No, I was going to say, if they make the Champions League or Champions Cup, as it's going to be known, I can't wait for Messi to play on some 5,000 or 10,000 capacity stadium in Jamaica in the pouring rain or something like that, or in Costa Rica or something like that.
I mean, he's going to play on a baseball field within the next calendar year, so it's not that out of the question.
Well, the way MLS is protecting Messi, though, they might make him construct a new stadium just for him. Aren't they? They're not going to let you. If you guys want to see Messi in Atlanta, you better figure out a way to put some natural grass out there.
Oh man,
Here we go.
I hope you sold those tickets already, Tommy.
Shut up. When I'm at that concert, I'm at Fall Out Boy yesterday, and I start seeing these articles about how Dan Garber wants everybody to start putting grass down for Messi. Get out of here. Like, and they don't even do it for the NFL. Like, NFL teams have been begging for it. Good. Then you don't make the playoffs. Then that's what you do. So let's just say you go on a run here and you get to Atlanta. You're going to just sit Messi and just say, you know what, we're not going to make the playoffs because Messi's special knees can't be playing on it. Get out of here. If he doesn't want to play.
Luckily, the game against Atlanta is in September. The one game that I would question if they sit him out is the final game of the season in Charlotte, because that would be the final game of the season. That would be a decision day type of game, and that would be on turf. That is the only time I see that they possibly could play him on turf. That Atlanta game, Tommy, sell your tickets.
Yeah.
Just sell them.
I don't know, man.
We have a bet. Me and Dan have a bet on it. He wanted to bet me $100. I just wanted to bet a beer.
That's how confident. Yeah, but your beers cost like 50 cents at your stadium. That's not fair.
That's true.
Yeah,
I want 15 beers.
If we're talking like Inter Miami prices, then we got a real bet going.
Right.
That is $100.
Yeah, it's ridiculous down here.
Yeah, now is it gonna be the Hard Rock or Drop Pink though?
U.S. Open Cup, they're considering the Hard Rock for the final. If Houston has to beat Real Salt Lake, and obviously Miami has to beat Cincinnati, they won't be playing the final in Drive Pink Stadium. I don't know if it's going to be the Hard Rock, but they are looking to play it in a bigger stadium. And my understanding is if Real Salt Lake wins and Miami has to go to Real Salt Lake, they also want to play in a bigger stadium over there. I'm not sure how that's going to work.
I mean, how many people are you going to get out to Utah, right? Like,
the only
a lot is this.
Like the only place I could think of if RSL hosts it is Utah, the University of Utah Stadium. I mean, I think that's like the biggest. I don't know if they hosted like America First Field because that's like 20,000, but there's a good chance. I mean, Rice Eccles Stadium, which is where University of Utah football team plays, that's a 51,000 person venue. So I mean, we'll see. I mean, the Messi effect could have a very big effect on where these matches are played. I mean, granted, there'll be a lot of advance notice needed, but I'm just speculating.
Well, there's going to be a large contingency of Miami fans traveling to wherever that final is, for the fact that it's going to be could possibly be the first cup in our franchise's history. Right now, I'm not a big fan of the Open Cup in general. I'm not a big fan of it. But the fact that it would be the first trophy, I definitely would be curious or to prices to go fly out
I
there.
love me some Open Cup, man.
You don't
No,
like
no, I hate
fun?
Early rounds are
I
so
know.
fun.
I think it's so stupid
Why though?
because I don't care about beating up on Miami
His theory
FC.
is terrible.
I prefer.
You don't care
getting up
about
on-
beating up Holy Name High School?
No, look, we beat. Who did we
Sorry,
beat?
we
Chris,
played
we beat
Griffin Tech up here.
We beat
we beat some
Birmingham,
team in Alabama.
Alabama.
Never heard of them, and I will probably never hear their name again. And I get it for them, for the smaller clubs, it's cool to play against the MLS clubs. So much so that Don Garber doesn't care about it. Half the teams don't care about it. And then if they somehow miraculously stumble upon the Final Four, then they're like, all right, let's play our guys. I think I don't take it seriously.
But all these pro rel fanboys, they love it. They
Ugh.
eat it up like cake, Danny. So like you can't take that away.
They love
And-
it.
To me, it's not even about.
I'm waiting to see if everybody's against pro rel or some people might be for pro rel. I
well,
don't know.
okay, well, see, that's a conversation. Who, buddy?
It is.
We can
It
get
is.
into the weeds with that one, but going to the like pro rail for me, I could care less. I mean, I think for USL, like what they're trying to do, it's already the perfect setup anyway. So why not do it? MLS.
Well, I mean, the
Well, that-
local team here in the USL, there's like a total of 6.5 people that go watch that game.
right? You're
like,
not going to
that-
get the
that-
lower like super
Yeah.
local teams. That's not going to happen anytime soon. But
Yeah.
for what they're talking about with like the USL, for the most part, now granted, yeah, some are bigger than others. I mean, like for like up here, we've got Birmingham. That's a pretty big club. Obviously, we got Memphis, which knocked freaking Atlanta out of it this year. So, whatever, screw those guys. But you've got, I guess, the infrastructure already set up for a lot of it. So it's like, why not do it? MLS is not going to be there anytime soon. The lower tier leagues, the Georgia Revolutions of the or the Villages FC. I mean, down up near Ocala and all that. Like that's not going to happen anytime soon.
Well, all I know is getting back to what we were talking about with the grass, I did read somewhere that they're planning on temporarily installing real grass on top of the turf. So whether there's any truth or that, Tommy, one time, I think it's coming, Bobby. It's coming.
It's not.
That's
They're
worse
gonna
than
baby
turf down though.
they're gonna baby Messi everywhere he goes. I mean, the amount of revenue that these teams are gonna have from their ticket sales and everything else, they're gonna, if they could put clouds on the ground, they would do that. Like
I'll throw this out there too. Remember that Copa America is going to be held in the U.S. next year. They haven't announced the venues yet, but I imagine Atlanta will be in the conversation. And it's going to be a quick turnaround to put grass down. I mean, they're going to need to do it anyway before the World Cup. But if Atlanta is selected, I mean, if they aren't selected, it'll be because they have turf. If they are selected, they're going to have to figure something out with grass in a hurry. And I would imagine there will be maybe some discussion about having that permanently. So
it can happen.
Yeah.
Shut up, Chris.
But we want to show you this. Shall we show you guys this video real quick? I mean, you guys have seen it, but for those watching on YouTube and
we need
for those listening to the
context.
podcast, yeah, we'll there's some context in there. So, Chris, Danny, why
Is
not
it
just
Fridge
give
Guy?
some context? Yeah, it's Fridge Guy. give us a little context before we show it. And for those listening on the podcast, we'll post a link in the show notes. But yeah, give us some context.
Well, I don't have too much context. I wasn't there when it happened. We had a guest on our show on Monday night, and he was telling us about how he saw things flying. Like I told you, we saw some of the stages missing their letters or whatnot because the winds here in July when it rains, they're pretty strong.
Fierce.
This is peak hurricane season. So there were materials flying, and a fridge came loose and completely took this guy out.
Oh my word,
Dude,
I
hey,
watched
that
this
guy
video 1,000
live.
times.
So if I
we're-
could
we're
just
still
break
in the
it down,
hunt.
if
We're in
I
the
could just
hunt.
break it, if I could just break it down a little bit more efficiency, that guy with the poncho was running a cross route, and Ray Lewis decided I'm not having any of that,
Fridge
and
Perry.
said, "This is it, and we're going fourth down, and you're punting."
How many hot dogs were in that fridge?
Yeah,
At least
I'm more worried about the hot dogs than the
765.
person.
That's insane.
And $500 beers were in there as well. So
Wow.
He got worked. He got.
Man, when you
Listen,
guys
that-
posted that
that-
video this morning, I've been had a busy day at work, and then I see you guys tag us in a video, and it's the Power Rangers, us all as Power
yes.
Rangers, and two parts. When the Black Power Ranger was the fridge, I lost it. And then the mouth moved on the fridge. That sent me into like a seizure. And then like I think you changed the words, didn't you? It was like messy monsters or something like
Yeah.
that.
No,
that wasn't.
No.
That was the
That
actual
really
words.
did. Yeah.
yes.
Oh, what are the odds of that?
Yeah. No.
Thank you for
Rangers
making me
predicted
Tommy the Green
this
Ranger.
happening.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. You get the proper respect. The proper respect. That day,
Yeah.
I mean Sunday, it was a literal circus. It was a literal circus. I mean, if I wish I think I'm only thankful for being in the experience for the experience, because it was a complete disaster. And Danny was just a guy that got left on planet Earth before it completely imploded. So
Yeah. No.
I myself and 700 people bum rushed into the stadium. We didn't get checked for any weapons. We could have walked in with bazookas, right?
Yeah.
There's a video of that. They didn't even check our tickets. So we had 100 people that walked in and had free seats. Danny, on the other hand, is on the other side of a gate waiting for pieces of food because he's starving.
Yeah, the people that bum rush got in, everybody else was left out in the rain. Yeah, I don't completely knock Inter Miami too much, but it was poorly. You couldn't predict that rainstorm. Nobody saw that coming. Even in the weather report, it didn't say that it was going to be that crazy. I don't know
Okay.
where that came from, but I do think that they should have prepared better. I gave an analogy, and Tommy, I don't know if you guys are into wrestling, but I know Tommy is. WrestleMania, I go to WrestleManias, and if it's in a stadium, they always have those pillars that are always obstructing my view of the ring, and then that big thing over just in case it rains. It never rains, but they have it just in case. And I felt like they should have been a little more prepared. But again, this was all put together in a matter of 2 or 3 weeks, if that. So
Yeah,
I'm trying my best to give them the benefit of the doubt.
I get it to a degree, but I'm also like, this is messy.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to get anybody bigger than this ever,
Nope.
ever. So like, and you've obviously got the money. Like, it's not like it's a money thing. So I mean, obviously you guys live in Miami. I have family in Miami. I've got family all over Florida. We're in Florida all the freaking time. You can't drive an hour through Florida without hitting a freak rainstorm. It just happens. Like, you should know this. You should
Yes.
know this.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say it because I'm not a Miami fan.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all could have prepared better for this. That's wild.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. Like, and it was actually really funny. I wish I could pull up the screenshot. When the thing kicked off, I pulled up the weather radar of Miami, and it looked like a little miniature hurricane sitting on top of you guys. And I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, what are the odds of this crap?
Yeah, no. Look, I've been there for weather relays plenty of times. Never has it rained or the wind been as bad as it was on Sunday. First time in 3 years, right? Because the first year it was 2020, not many fans out there. In 3 years, it's never been that bad. And, but I'm glad that it happened because hopefully they'll be better prepared from here on out.
For sure.
Yeah.
So guys, before we get to the hard question, because I told you guys to be prepared, I hope you have the whiteboard ready. I just want to congratulate you. Well, actually, it's condolences. I think this is the first time all transfer window, you guys have been on here now for 24 minutes, and you guys have not signed a player. I'm sorry.
Well, Jordi Alba just boarded his flight, so I don't know if you count that as news in the transfer window.
I mean,
He's
he was already
currently on a
the League's
Spirit
Cup roster.
airline.
Yeah.
So the
Jordi Alba.
question
I'm glad.
is-
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Sydney.
I was going to say real quick, I'm glad that MLS is chartering team flights this year because imagine Messi on a Spirit Airlines or American Airlines or Delta flight. I just wanted to say that real quick. Sorry. Go ahead, Tommy.
Yes.
How in the hell do you keep signing players, and how many DPs do you have, and is it more than you had when you guys got sanctioned?
Everything is by the book. Everything is by the book. No, I laugh because I've gotten this question so many times. So what there's 3 DPs. It's Campana, which I think you guys more or less know, Messi, and Busquets. Those are the 3 DPs. In the beginning of the season, it was Campana, Pizarro, and Gregory. Gregory, everybody was surprised that he became a DP, but apparently in his contract, he gets a raise every year. And it just randomly bumped him above the 651, 250 that makes you a DP player. Once he got that bump, all of a sudden he's a DP player. But I guess they knew this was coming in the summer, so they just kind of just let that fly and figured they'd buy him down with GAM money. That's what they did. They bought him down with the GAM money, not a DP player. Got a DP spot open. That's Busquets. Pizarro, you guys heard, we bought him out. He's now in Greece. That's another DP spot open. Signed Messi. So those are 3
was
DPs.
he bought out, or was it a mutual termination?
I'm sorry. No, you're right. Yes. It was a mutual. We still have that buyout for somebody else. So I'm not sure what they're planning to do with that buyout, but they still have that buyout in the bracket.
How did they convince a guy that was making obviously a decent amount of money, right? Like,
I don't know how much
we did this with the player too, but he wasn't making anywhere close to that money. We Emerson Hyman was a player that we were gonna figure we were stuck with, and he was gone. But like, you convinced the guy a pretty decent amount of money. Hey, let's just stop getting paid, and you don't get to hang out with Messi either.
Well, and he wanted to stay for free. He wanted to stay and not get paid, which is the craziest part. I mean, imagine that. I mean, MLS isn't going to allow it, but imagine
Garber would allow it. Oh, you want to stay here for $1 to hang out with Messi and friends? Done.
This guy was getting paid $3 million.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It was $3 million, but half the season's over. So he's already gotten half that money. So what he lost out on was half of that. And then the Greece season, I think, is just starting now. So he's going to get, I don't know how much he signed for over there, but he wasn't going to get a new contract with us. So he lost out on that $1.5 million that he had left right now, but he might have signed a larger contract. I have no idea how much he's making over there. Out of sight, out of mind. I don't really care, but I don't know what they gave him over there, but mutual termination. So as far as DPs go, we are good. Now, I know you guys are talking about all these U22 players that we're signing. Every team gets 3 of them. And this essentially 3 more DPs.
Is that right? Just 3, not 4?
No, we get 4, guys. We get 4.
Apparently.
That's why Ibarra, there was the rumor of Ibarra coming.
Well, that's where those 3 players are coming. I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with Inter Miami at all, but we had 6 homegrown academy players playing for us right before the break.
Yeah.
That's how bare bones our roster is. Everybody's like, but how do you guys get all these players? Because we had nobody on our team.
Yeah.
Why do you think we lost 11 or 7 in a row, 8 out of the last 11? Because we had nobody. We were saving up for this summer transfer, and now we just used all that allocation money that we've gotten from trades for Lewis Morgan, Pellegrini. Who else? We shipped somebody else up. Well, Bryce Duke. All we did was just start trading off over the last 2 players, and got allocation money back. And now we're putting it into use.
Yeah.
I did my work.
And the bigger players, by the way. Oh, let me see.
It's a good calculation.
Yeah.
You got to show us your work.
Right.
Show us how you got there.
Sure. So, I mean,
I only used one finger to write this. Just one finger.
And let me just mention something before you get to it, Sydney. But a lot of our better players all went down with injuries. I mean, we're talking about like 4 or 5 players.
Yeah.
So the fact that Danny is mentioning that we literally went bare bones, I mean, I imagine that these 6 academy players are all playing for, a Happy Meal and a $5 coupon at this point. That's why we were able to have enough money to be able to float things around, Sydney.
Yeah, and I was going to hit on this real quick. I actually saw the match where they played like 6 academy players like you were talking about. But yeah, I actually cover MLS for MLSsoccer.com quite regularly. Nice. And yeah, the interim head coach was talking about, listen, we weren't playing these guys on purpose. We had to because, we had no choice. So yeah, we're back into a situation where they had to put out 5 kids, 6 kids, and they gave a really good account of themselves against DC United. And Morales is saying, DC has DPs, we don't, and yeah, he's super proud of them for playing to that draw. And yeah, again, really out of necessity, not because they wanted to, but yeah, again, because they had to. Gotta talk about Joseph, and we haven't hit on him that much during this interview. How do you think he fits into all of this? I had to laugh kind of because I saw him talking to Messi during the training a couple of days ago. So how do you think he fits in? I imagine the mood is with Tata that Messi can really elevate Joseph's play even more. And how do you think they'll get on in the locker room? And how do you think Joseph makes out in the end? I mean, he left rather controversially from Atlanta, but how do you think he makes out? It's like 10 games left in the season plus Leagues Cup. I mean, what's kind of the scoop on him down there?
Joseph said that he got goosebumps when he met Messi. That tells me he respects Messi enough where he's going to be on his best behavior for the next 12 to 15 games.
I like that you have to say his best behavior.
Yeah. I mean, and look, he hasn't really acted out necessarily, but you can see it in his mannerisms on the pitch that he's starting to get aggravated. And it's been a crappy season altogether, so I understand. He's had a bad run, and the team in general has had a bad run. But you ever heard that Evanescence song? The you know what I'm talking about.
Wake Me Up Inside.
Messi is bringing the life back into a lifeless Joseph.
That's stuck in my head now. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I hope you imagine Messi bringing Joseph just back to life because it's happening, and I see it when I watch Joseph, because I binge watch Joseph highlights when we first signed him, just so I can get hyped up about it. And the majority of his goals are being at the right place at the right time, which is a skill, right? I'm not taking anything away from him. You need to know how to be and where to be and how to break that back line. But a lot of them were tap-ins. He knows how to get to the open space. And now he has the perfect person to give him that service inside the box. So I do think that they're going to be linking up. And if anybody was going to salvage Joseph's career, at least for half a season, I think it could be Messi. So I'm expecting big things from Joseph.
So I'll throw this out there too, just because I hate to break it to you, but Joseph losing his mind on the pitch, that's nothing new. That's not because Miami's playing bad. That is Joseph Martinez, man. He was doing that in 2018 when we won the Cup. If somebody did something stupid, he was pissed. That's just how he is.
Well, and I'll tell you, this is to me, and maybe Danny can double down on this, but to me, this is like deja vu from last year. Because the same complaints that we had with Joseph now is the same thing we had with Higuain. You know, I don't know if you guys were keeping up with Inter Miami last year, but the moment we got Pozuelo, that completely changed everything. Mm-hmm. And so it's not only do we have a better, center attacking midfielder, but then we also have Joseph, who was consistently scoring goals like a couple years ago, Like, it's not like, I mean, he's washed if he's playing with a bunch of nobodies, but now he's got Busquets that can give it to Messi, and then Messi who can give it to a janitor, and he'll be the best scorer in the entire league.
I'll go play for you guys up top.
Hey, you'll probably get 10 goals before the year ends.
Let's go.
Look,
Tyler,
the way I try to
I'm going to get the fourth DP money.
I think a fourth DP is coming next year. But I will tell you, I look at this team, and they're going to take a while to gel. I do believe that. But, I mean, in the starting 11, right, obviously not counting the keeper, you got 10 spots, and we're going to have 5 to 6 new players over the next couple weeks. Like, that's a lot more quality than what we had just recently. Like, this is going to be a brand new team. Now, how quickly they can gel, I don't know. But there's a lot of quality coming to this 11. So I do think that if they can figure things out quickly, I mean, even with a new fucking everything with a new coach, if they can figure it out, I can't see why they wouldn't be able to make a good run right now.
Yeah, and
I think you guys are kind of in the boat that we're in.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sydney. I was just say cool. If you go far in Leagues Cup, great. But if not, you get knocked out quick. Like, you guys could just go and practice and get ready for the last part of the season. Either way, it's a win-win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You guys are talking about maybe MLS adds a fourth DP next year. And we joked about the roster rules and all of that. I'd imagine maybe the next 2-3 years heading into the World Cup, these roster rules will be pretty revamped as far as how much money teams can spend. Because we talked about it before you guys came on. We joked about the U22 spots, DP spots. the emergency calls, short-term agreements with one of our kids down at the MLS Next Pro team that everyone's been clamoring for. The rules in MLS are just so archaic, and they weren't built for a league that is looking to move forward into the next decade plus. I know we got to cut you guys loose in just a little bit.
Good. I'm good.
But,
yeah, we're good. We're good.
Yeah, but I can imagine, this league is going to look a lot different rules-wise in the next 5 years. And again, with Copa America coming, and it'll involve CONCACAF, so a lot of eyes will be on the U.S., Canada, Mexico. Copa America, World Cup, of course, 2026. Women's World Cup, possibly
2027.
2027. Yeah, exactly. I mean,
it's inevitable
be on this country soccer-wise. Yeah, it is.
I want to keep the salary cap, though.
Yeah, I feel like it's absolutely necessary to keep a salary cap just to keep it as American as possible, right? Like, we don't want to just blast things open because then guys with deep pockets are just going to come through and get 100 Messis. So the changes that are coming are inevitable. And in reality, I think it's great because it's going to challenge a lot of the teams to sort of pony up and be like, hey, we want to get some of the better stars across the pond, right? I don't think teams, honestly, I don't think that a year or two from now, I don't think teams like in the New York market, in Atlanta, in Los Angeles, and all the major markets, I don't think that they're going to have any trouble getting really good players from overseas. But then we're talking about bettering the league in total, so the changes are going to come for sure.
Yeah, even if MLS does take away the salary cap, which they probably don't. I mean, just because if you spend a lot of money, I mean, that doesn't guarantee anything. I mean, look at baseball. I'm a big New York Mets fan. Mets spent like they have the highest payroll in baseball history, and they're like under 500. So
I agree with that.
Spending money is no guarantee that your team was going to be good.
But who
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Pays 2 40-year-olds to be their aces. Like, come on.
Well, yeah, that's another story. But no, you guys see where I'm going with this, and maybe that salary cap is needed to keep that American aspect and to make it a better playing field or much more level playing field, where you can't spend money, but you can't spend as much money as you want.
And how American would that be to be like, we're still gonna cap it and we're going to be better than you in 5 years. Right, Tommy? I knew you were going to say something before I cut you off, but I mean, how American is that going to be? Like, we're so much better than you and we're capped.
We're not going to be better than anybody else. I'm just saying that.
I know, but
our draw is the parity. I think that's what people are eventually going to, at least here in this country, they're going to like, because teams like Real Salt Lake are going to die if we just get rid of the salary cap, because Neymar isn't going to go play in Real Salt Lake. And they can't. Who are they going to pay? Like, I get that some Inter Miami fans don't care because there's a good chance that we would be one of those like top teams, spending money wise and all that. But I enjoy the parity. I enjoy that.
Yeah, I do.
That there's 12 games left in the year, and I'm like, we still got a chance. Like, I enjoy all these things, and I think that if you get rid of that parity, it stinks, because everybody loves the EPL. And don't get me wrong, I watch the EPL and I watch La Liga, but there's been I think it was 3 champions over the last 10 years in the EPL. There's been 3 champions in the last 10 years in La Liga. There's been 1 champion in the Bundesliga. Like, why?
They were so close this year, though.
And yeah, I know. But they've convinced people that, hey, don't worry. At least you can maybe not get relegated. You get to keep playing with the big boys. Go ahead. Make sure that you don't get relegated. Or maybe you can win this FA Cup. Let's dangle that in front of you. Like, come on, man. Like, everybody wants to win the big cup. And it's impossible for most teams. And I think that's unfair. And I wouldn't want that for the MLS.
Yeah, and like people like fantasy GMing, right? Like they're like they'd be able to figure this stuff out. Like, everybody's trying to fantasy GM you guys right now and try to figure out how this all fits, right? And you have so many new fans coming into this league, and you want to be able to sit down with somebody and explain to them maybe in 10 minutes how the entire salary cap system works. Unfortunately, you need 10 days currently to be able to have people understand all the different positions, what GAM is, how do you get it, can you print fake GAM like Miami does, all these different things. Like, that's
They got monopoly money floating around somewhere.
Right.
Get yourself a good general manager like Chris Henderson, and he'll make the allocation money appear. And if you have any new fans listening to you guys, we dropped a couple of episodes on the Battered Heron's channel explaining GAM, TAM, DP, and just the rules in general. So
it was very good. I love listening to that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I know you guys got to go. I know y'all got something I want to hit really quick.
We got our show, but no, don't worry about it. Anything that you want asked, we'll answer.
All right. Well, I'm going to run through just a couple quick ones, and you guys, we can do it rapid fire. That way you guys can get ready for yours, go grab you a beer, whatever you got to do. Edgar, who is another guy that covers the Galaxy, so he's out on West Coast time right now, has a podcast as well. Any word about Eden Hazard?
No truth to that. Yeah, there's no truth to that.
Dead in the water.
There was no contact made or anything.
Okay, so that's all right.
There's some
Luis Suarez. I think I saw that was asking in the chat too. Bruno was asking Suarez.
There's a little flirting going on from what I see. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how we're gonna make it work, but I think that's when you're gonna see your first MLS change.
I think that he does come in January. My understanding is that his contract is done by the end of this year with Gremio. Now, some people are saying that because we have that buyout option, that buying out Campana is an option and then signing Luis Suarez.
That is
true. That is not an option, because if we get rid of Campana and sign Suarez to that DP spot, then we lose those 3 U22s, which we are using to fill up our roster. So buying out Campana is no longer an option. The only way we can get Suarez is if they were to somehow magically make him come and sign for a TAM deal, which I highly doubt that he'll sign for that.
Doesn't Gremio, don't they have some kind of like
70 million buyout clause
or
something like that?
And then they have like an anti-compete clause. I don't even know. I don't know what it's called.
Because if he were to randomly retire and then decide to come back, he can't come play for
that's what it was.
MLS or into Miami. Yeah,
it's a lot to sink your teeth into regarding Suarez, I think.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude! Really?
Pun intended. I like that. What you did there. I see what you did there.
Over here.
Had to do it.
I just got it. It took me a minute.
Oh, Tommy.
Tommy.
I'm just double checking because we had a handful for you guys, and a lot of people are just they're hating on you guys cheating. That's all I'm saying. I'm just kidding.
I can see that I can see it looks like we're playing with Monopoly money. I could see that.
Hey, from the outside in, for sure. Also, we have had our own fair share of talk about our technical director and how he handles money, and he throws it at anybody. So I think the way you guys explained it, actually talking about how you guys have been playing with a bare bones roster, legitimately, like even though it's still a little funky, you guys,
it doesn't smell as funky.
Yeah.
Well,
and
to real quick to that point, Lewis Morgan has been playing very well in the Red Bulls. We didn't understand why we got rid of him. We got a lot of allocation money back, but at that point, I'm like, who the hell cares about allocation money? Julian Carranza has been balling for Philly. Why the hell did we get rid of him? Wasn't playing that great, but we got rid of him for allocation money. It makes no sense. Bryce
killing
Duke.
it in Philly.
Yes, Bryce Duke. This is the future of our 10. He's our future 10. Why are we getting rid of him for Kamal Miller and allocation money? Now it all makes sense. This is why we kept getting allocation money, and our fan base was like, what the hell are we planning to do with all this allocation money? We need players. Well, we had to wait a while, but we got him. And I understand that it smells fishy, but if you really break it down, it's all right there in front of you. They collected the allocation money over the last couple of years. They deferred it to this summer transfer window, and we're using those basically 60 P spots if you count the U22s.
Bruno saying he throws the money like he's at Magic City. Tommy, you want to? I don't know if y'all understand that comment.
We had Tommy explain Magic City to us.
Okay.
Okay, good.
I don't know how much like Atlanta rap y'all had listened to.
Good wings, good ladies.
Years.
Yes. Swaggy P.
So we kind of talked about Hard Rock and Miami play matches there, and of course they're building the new stadium eventually. But Alberto's also asking, do you think they play at Hard Rock next year?
I don't think so. I don't think so. The owner of that stadium completely hates everything that has to do with Inter Miami and MLS. Like he wants absolutely nothing to do with that. It's Stephen Ross.
Is he a
Oh, Steve
douchebag?
Ross.
I keep hearing that he hates MLS and Miami. I'm not sure why that would be, but my
Like in
understanding
the
is that
Ricardo Silva hates MLS kind of way,
Like,
or
do you hate money though?
well, that's the thing.
You see?
The Open Cup, that's where a lot of people are speculating the Open Cup final will be played. So I'm not sure how they would figure that out with Stephen Ross still running. I mean, he's still going to be the owner from here to 2 months from now. So I don't see why everybody's saying that he hates him so much. If that's the rumor going around, maybe it is. But I can't imagine that they would play it over there, because then you have to, because Stephen Ross isn't going to just let you play over there just out of goodwill. You're going to have to pay him, right? You're going to have to give up some concessions, some parking, some ticket sales maybe. So I don't see where the business, where that kind of aligns business wise. I mean, fan base wise, great, because the ticket prices will be a lot cheaper, but
it's going to take a lot of hours in a meeting room and a hell of a business deal for that to happen.
Yeah, I don't think
and
it's
the way
happening.
that I see it, and the way I see it is, we're going to be getting our new stadium in about 2 years and change. So I'm just wondering if it's even an advantage to move it to Hard Rock Stadium when you already have Drive Pink and you can basically open up the new stadium in 2.5 years.
That sucks, because that's the end of Messi's contract, right?
Yes, he's 2.5 with an option for an extra year.
For a third.
I can't imagine that stadium opening without Messi though. So I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. But I think that it'll happen where he's still playing.
Yeah.
Guys, y'all got a show to get to. I know it. I appreciate y'all hanging out.
No, we appreciate you guys having us on. It was always a good time.
For having us
Y'all
on.
welcome anytime. Are y'all coming up here in September?
I wanted
would've
to.
loved to.
I've told Tommy that I've been dying to go see I've wanted to go just to see the stadium. It looks beautiful.
It's pretty sweet.
And then just to go ahead and buy the 30-cent
5-cent beers.
Yeah, and then the
Paying 1920 prices over there.
and then they pay you to buy their pizza. It's ridiculous what you guys got going over there. So I've been looking forward to going over there, but now with the Messi thing, I'm sure the tickets are going to be way too expensive. So I'll just stick to watching them at home. Yeah, but hopefully one day I get to go.
Fans.
Maybe the Atlanta. We're gonna go see the Falcons or something up there. I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, if you're gonna go, you might as well go see the team that it was built for in the first place. I'm just saying.
I mean, this is true. This is true. You guys all Falcons fans?
no? I'm a Bills fan.
Yeah, I am. I mean,
Bills.
Yeah.
after the Super Bowl, though, I can't take the heartbreak anymore, though.
If we're
I
talking
was
basketball,
rooting for the Falcons in the Super Bowl a few years ago, though.
oh,
Thanks.
well, they had a
Sydney,
good
for
team.
That, that really helped us.
If we're ever talking basketball, I just want to let it be known that Trae Young is still not valid. So
Oh my god!
You have to understand, Chris is a Knicks fan. Chris is a Knicks fan.
Yeah.
still not valid.
Yeah, how'd that work out for you last
Hey,
time?
you know what's funny? Every time that they have played, Atlanta has played a New York team this year, they have had something to do with Trae Young in the bins. They brought him in to hammer the Golden Spike one time. I think we played. What was it, New York City?
Really?
Yeah.
It's the Red Bulls.
Was
I
it
like
Red Bulls?
that.
Yeah,
Get him where it hurts.
City hates him.
I like that. Yeah, they do hate him, man. They're always talking about his hairline and stuff.
The best part was he showed up in WWE in New York, like
No, he embraced it.
The Knicks.
He embraced it.
Oh yeah, he
completely.
was great.
The villain.
He's a good bad guy, man. He's a great bad guy. He's a good heel.
Man. He's the new Reggie Miller for New York.
Yes, and everybody plays up to the Knicks, so like it's completely not fair.
Shut up! Nobody cares
Everybody
about the Knicks, dude.
Everybody plays up for the Knicks, Danny. Don't even do that. Don't even do that. You're still watching the Brooklyn Nets. They got like 5 custodians playing a game. Okay.
This is like watching my parents fight. This is awkward.
Yeah, let me tell you something. It is rough being a Nets fan for sure.
Well, thank you guys. We really appreciate it.
We honestly
really
man.
appreciate it.
Y'all got to
appreciate you guys. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And we'll see if I get to run FIFA with you guys at some point.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just told that I've got to update my Xbox, so I'm taking a GoFundMe for anybody who wants to help me.
Well, this year we get to get crossplay. Oh no, is that for Madden? Was it
No,
FIFA
it's
or
They
Madden?
have crossplay, but you can't play on like the old Xbox and the new Xbox. Like
Like the
have
Xbox
to play
One,
on,
I've
like,
got
the
I've
same
got the original
generation.
Xbox One.
So
I'm trying. I want to get an X, a Series X, and I'm just not
Yeah.
there. I just don't have it yet, but I'm gonna get there. So I'm taking donations.
Well, you let me know. I'm down. I'll beat you in Madden, FIFA, 2K, NHL.
We should do this.
MLB.
Any
Would
sports
you have
game,
Xbox?
dude, I'm not even going to try to argue. We talk about
I have
Halo or something,
PlayStation.
it's a different story.
Yeah,
You have
you guys,
PlayStation?
All 5 sports. PS5.
Dude,
All right.
I'll look like somebody on acid trying to play Madden. I haven't played that in freaking 15 years, man.
If there's
Well,
crossplay,
this
Daniel,
changed a
we'll have
little
to
bit.
do. We could do a stream or something. I play
Yeah.
Madden and
You let me know.
And
I got
FIFA.
Aaron Rodgers now because I'm a Jets fan, so I'm good.
we have Desmond Ritter. Okay, get these guys off.
Oh my god, dude.
All right, guys.
All right,
you have a
thanks,
good one.
Thanks for having us.
appreciate you.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks for coming
See ya.
on.
Messi sucks. Just say it every time I leave their show. Just Messi sucks.
D
No,
dot
but good-
say
good stuff.
Inter Miami just signed Ronaldinho. I actually saw him at the Atlanta Silverback Stadium. It was like Ronaldinho and friends, and yeah, he was there. So that was fun to watch. But yeah, fun stuff with the Better Herons guys.
Yeah,
Some good guys.
Good guys. I mean, Tommy, you've been on there a few times. We knew it was going to be fun. That's part of it, and it's a little different of a vibe, right? We would normally have the MLS guys on here, but yeah, thank you, Edgar. I'm so glad
Edgar
somebody
say-
knows
Inter
ball
Miami
around
just
here.
signed Tyler Pilgrim.
Yeah,
What
I got-
position would you play though?
I'm playing up top. Are you kidding me? Messi's going to literally serve me a ball on a platter. All I got to do is like throw a middle finger up at it. I'm going to score a goal. I don't have to do anything.
Dual strike.
I'll hand you guys water.
Joseph.
Hey, I'm here for it.
Wonder if
probably
Joseph
want
stays after the season. I was going to ask those guys, but we're running out of time. Like, because he wanted a 2-year contract, and I think they only gave him one.
They gave him one with an
I'm curious.
option.
And, well, yeah, I'm curious if they pick up that option or renegotiate, and he takes even more of a cut at that point, just because you're playing with some pretty damn good players out
Dude,
there.
I love Joseph, but if he can't get back to his form with this team, he ain't gonna get there. I'm sorry.
No. Yeah.
He ain't gonna
no,
get
I
there.
agree.
Well, let's see how quick they mesh, right? I mean, that's what they talked about. Like, how does this end up working out? I think that this is going to work out okay, right? Like, I think that, I think they're going to get close to the playoffs. I think Decision Day could be must-watch TV for them, and that's really what we're looking at. Because my argument to these guys were last time is MLS has paid a lot of money. They're giving Messi a ton of money, right, for every subscription. Adidas is giving them money. Like, I wonder if there's even anything out there, just conspiracy Tommy talking, that says, like, hey, if Miami makes the playoffs, we'll throw you some cash. We'll throw you some money here because, this is big, right? You're launching this new playoff format, right? The best of 3. So you can have 3 extra games potentially, at least, or 2 at minimum, of watching Messi in the playoffs. That could get subscribers there. Just okay, kind of keeping an eye. Like let's order Apple next year because that's Miami's year, right? All of a sudden, Messi makes the playoffs. People are throwing their credit cards out, buying whatever the playoff package is, just to be able to see if Miami can somehow pull it out and go far here. So, I think they go for it. The question is how much of a break do they give Messi? Atlanta's is currently above the playoff spot. Who knows where they're at that point? But he's going to need to play. If they need to pass Atlanta up, he should be playing that game.
I think the big thing for MLS too is they want to keep people interested in the league year round. I mean, the playoffs obviously are unique to MLS. You don't see that anywhere else in the world except, like, for example, the UK promotion relegation or promotion playoffs in the UK. But as far as top flight, you don't see playoffs, and MLS's challenge is getting people to buy in from day one, right? You may have that late adoption rate later in the season when playoffs start, when the playoff races heat up. And that's why parity is so important. Like, we already talked about the other leagues in Europe. Scotland is another great example. It's been like Rangers and Celtic for like the past 20 years, literally, have won the league. And that's what MLS is different. That's why MLS is different, the parity of the league. How many different champions have MLS produced in the past decade. And I think that's a real point of pride for MLS in that the parity is so strong and you need only one or two players to really change your fortunes. So again, how can MLS capture people's attention from start to finish? I think Messi does that, especially in 2024, Tommy, like he said. People are going to be watching Inter Miami saying, okay, they have Messi, they have Busquets, they have Alba, they have perhaps maybe Suarez. Doesn't look like it's going to happen, but you're going to see this team and be like, okay, what is Messi and his group going to do? And yeah, it's going to get so many eyes, not just here in the U.S. and Canada and Mexico, but around the world. Like anyone, anywhere can see this. So I think that's going to be the big selling point. And MLS and Apple is just going to be leaning in so hard to get people to buy season pass. And obviously, the more season pass subscriptions they sell, the better. That's because, and that will lead to more money in Messi's pocket too. And really, I would say a rising tide situation for the rest of the league. So,
yeah, I mean, I think though what you're going to see, because there's been this whole hint of like, I think it was supposed to be today, MLS having this roster rules meeting or whatever they're going to have. I hope for my own mental sanity that nothing changes with roster rules right now. Because if Atlanta just had to do what they did to Franco Ibarra and then Messi and Busquets and Alba and everybody else, Barcelona retirement squad that Miami is bringing in, if they change the rules right now in the middle of the summer transfer window, I don't know that I even want to like open up my phone for like a week because it would be an absolute crap show.
Open season.
Oh, for sure. Like it's one thing to be like, because legitimately, like the guys, they did a great job explaining like how Miami has gotten to this point financially, understandably. However, if Miami and MLS sit down today and all of a sudden tomorrow, the U22 rule changes, the DP rule changes, the salary cap rule changes, then it's going to look so, to use an Among Us reference, sus. It's going to be so bad for the rest of the league and the fan base. They're going to be furious. So I think like in terms of like Messi, 100%, like the rules have to change. The rules have to change at this point. And to go back to what they were talking about earlier, like you don't want to take parity completely out of the equation because it is a draw. I like when Atlanta wins all the time personally, but like I understand why that league is not set up that way. But if you take all of that out, you're losing a lot of draw for this league because you don't have like you've got Messi, you've got talent now, but it's still nothing all over the scale compared to what you have in the Premier League, La Liga, Bundesliga, even Serie A. Like you don't have that here. And it's going to take a while to get to that point organically. Messi is going to bump that up. He's going to make it go a lot quicker. But now MLS has to play the cards right and make it happen organically.
The Miami guys just sent me a message. They officially announced Diego Gomez as their U22.
Of course they
did. So they made sure to send that to me because I said that they hadn't signed anybody in 15 minutes.
I'll throw this out there. I'll throw this out there too. And we briefly talked about this regarding Almada. I mean, he'll be gone soon, but how does Messi's decision affect him? I mean, that's his idol. That's the player he grew up watching. I mean, Messi's a god in Argentina sports-wise. So does that make Almada kind of delay this decision, or does he still make the move at the end of the year? And I feel like he does, but I feel like, too, knowing that this guy, one of his idols growing up, probably his primary idol growing up from a sporting sense, is playing in the same league as him. I think that kind of may cause him to hold his ground for a little bit at least, and maybe see at least if they can play one match against each other.
Let me throw this out there really quick because Tommy, I know you got something too. And I'm trying to scroll down and find the quote, and I may not find it in time.
But that interview,
yeah, the first thing is, it hasn't been mentioned in a minute, but like Argentine media, and don't quote me on who or what outlet because there's a ton down there, but somebody down there, and I say somebody, a few different outlets had referenced Almada before he came to Atlanta, well before he came to Atlanta when he was still playing at Velez, as the next Lionel Messi. Those are big words. Those are big, obviously. And I think they were embellishing. However, there are a lot of things about Almada that echo Messi in terms of his technique and his skill. I'm not saying he's going to go and he's going to do anything Messi did in terms of like, the amount of goals scored, the legacy that he left at Barcelona. Like that's not what we're referring to here, but the way he plays is very, very similar. If you watch the two of them play, the only difference is one likes to drift in from the right to the left because he's left-footed. The other one likes to drift in from the left to the right because he's right-footed. And that's just the way that they play. But they do have a similar skill set. Obviously, I'm not comparing Almada to Messi in terms of like Almada's the next Messi. But it was referenced, right? It was mentioned at one point. But then today, or maybe yesterday at the skills challenge, and I can't pull it up right now. I don't have it. But Almada mentioned, that he came to Atlanta and he had no hesitation, I think is what he said, to come to Atlanta. And he's going to put in everything he's got, and he's going to use Atlanta to get better because he does want to make that jump to Europe. So, like, we've always known, this is no surprise, that Almada wants to go to Europe. He deserves to go to Europe. There's no reason to hold him into MLS. And saying that he's too good for MLS is not a knock on MLS,
right?
But it's something to be celebrated for Thiago Almada. He's that good. He should be playing in, the NBA, not the CBA or whatever, like off-brand, basketball association. He's not playing in AAA baseball. He should be playing in the MLB. Like, welcome to the show. You don't need to be playing in MLS when you're that good. I'm not knocking him, but he's good enough to go to the Premier League or La Liga or whatever. So he said, essentially that Atlanta was and still is the big stepping stone for his career. And he's going to put forth his best effort. And he says that every time we talk to him in the locker room, that all his focus is on Atlanta right now. That doesn't mean that he's not going to go the next chance that pops up if the offer is right. Like, this thing can happen overnight. So yeah, I still think he's gone in the wintertime personally. But it all depends on the offer that comes to Atlanta because they're not going to let him go for nothing. Obviously, it's still a business.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you just
be
saw
careful.
What's that?
Yeah. Sorry, I was going to say, be careful how you refer to MLS. Calling it the CBA compared to Premier League.
MLS is the rich version of the Premier League.
Yeah. No, but Tommy, you were just mentioning Mukhtar.
Yeah, like Mukhtar, they did. I think they rejected like a $7 million offer for him, and like that just seems low to me. Like I think that maybe it's just an initial offer, and they jump up from there. But you're going to see other teams just try to keep their stars and keep building, right? And yeah, I mean, I would sure if Messi told Messi and them were just sitting in the same room, they'd probably tell him like, go to Europe, like make yourself better. You can come back here at some point, but enjoy it while you can right now. And I think he's going to. I think he's going to enjoy being in MLS, doing this playoff. I mean, he's enjoying an All-Star weekend, which they don't have in other countries, right? So he's enjoying this entire weekend, soaking it all in. You're going to soak in these playoffs, which are probably going to be crazy, which should be interesting. Boo.
You have an Arsenal jersey?
I do. I mean, like, look, when Almada's and Giakoumakis on the field, it's a different story. But
let me ask you guys this super quick. Yeah, and we don't need to spend too much time on this, but do you feel like the Saudi Arabian League could become a threat to MLS? I know Garber said he doesn't think it could, but I mean, no. I think out of principle, a lot of players will skip the Saudi League considering the human rights violations and all of that, and sort of the controversy that has been shrouding that country. So they got a principle that'd be a move that a number of players don't make. But Tyler, you said it won't. Tommy, what do you think?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think
agree.
When there's players that are looking for one last payday, which I think that's what people have said about MLS, right? Like, oh yeah, you want one last payday. Sure, but like as far as like international brand and staying relevant, I mean, I don't know. I don't even know really what their TV deal is, right? Like I think I've seen a couple like Ronaldo games, but I don't remember like how I saw them. Maybe they were on ESPN for some reason, ESPN Plus. But like a TV deal, staying relevant in the eyes of the world, I think is important as well. And unless they get a huge TV contract, I don't know if that's something that can really happen with them. And I mean, you just saw Bruno Fernandes reject them. They offered him a huge amount of money to go over there, and he said no. Like they're trying, they're shooting their shot for sure. I mean, you see everything that's going on with the PGA as well. Like they're trying to buy. I mean, it's Pokemon cards, right? Like you're trying to buy the most expensive Pokemon cards to acquire over there and to get to eyes and get big TV contracts. Like that's the goal, but I don't see it happening. And I just don't like Ronaldo to begin with. So when I saw that quote, I had many words about it.
Yeah,
but he's Ronaldo. I hate him. I'll just say that. Like he's not going to be a guest on our show at any point soon. He's not coming to MLS, so I could say it. Screw Ronaldo. I hate that guy.
Yeah. I mean, you also never mind. I'm not going to say that. I was referring to another Atlanta player that you might have said some choice words about earlier in the season, but he still might be a guest on our show. So I'm not gonna harken back to those days.
Breck Shea?
Nope.
Okay.
That would be cool though.
Yeah.
Especially if we could bring his pet snake. For Miami.
Joseph
but
Martinez?
No, like,
we're getting Joseph Martinez on the show? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, no, that would be cool though.
It would be.
That would be
I don't
cool.
see it happening.
Oh, I'm running out of people I've talked negative about.
It's okay. I won't say the name because we got to stay relevant. No, but but to the question though, I think that's the biggest thing that's going to hold the Saudi Arabian League back is you don't have the visualization that other leagues have. You don't have the TV contracts that other teams have or other leagues have. Tommy just said it, but you don't have the draw. Not because you don't have the players. You're obviously getting in the players for sure, but you've got to be able to show them. You got to be able to show them off. And if the only place you're seeing Ronaldo play is on Twitter on a clip, for 30 seconds out of his entire 90 minutes out on the pitch, like then you're not doing any justice to the league that you've got. The league is only going to be as good as people can see. And right now, nobody's paying attention to the Saudi league. I will say this. I did see something earlier. Saudi Arabian third league, or whatever they call it, the third tier of their soccer pyramid, is looking to pay $3,000 to $4,000 per month, a house and a car, to anybody with some kind of soccer talent that wants to go over there and play for their third tier division. So if anybody wants to go move to the middle of the desert and play soccer for a decent pay, a car and a house, then it's apparently an open invite.
Yeah.
Was it Kubo Torres? Are we getting Kubo Torres on the show?
No, it's not Kubo Torres. He's a current player. That's why I can't say it.
Jurgen
Damm?
Damm?
We're going to go back and watch our freaking show from like
current.
Like, oh,
are we getting Jurgen
Damm?
Damm?
It's not current.
Shh. He has a permanent like
current.
room in the training ground. He was here for 2 years. If you're here, if you don't have a contract and you've had a room in there, you live here forever. So
he had enough money to add his own addition to the training ground.
how much money we paid him.
Exactly.
Man, you put me on the spot, like saying like trash talk to current player. Like,
no, it wasn't just you. To be fair, it wasn't just Tommy. It was all three of us said something, and it wasn't that we're trash talking him. We were just talking about the way he looked.
the way. Oh.
Oh yeah.
Oh. Die Hard villain. Okay.
Yeah.
It hit. It hit. Okay. I'll mute
take
now and shut up.
Okay.
I was really hoping it was Jurgen Damm, though. Oh, or Kubo.
I'm waiting for somebody like Bruno's saying Josetu?
I would never talk negative
it's not
of that
Josetu.
man.
Gene saying my 10-0 prediction was kind of
Have you
off.
seen these rumors about Josetu?
Yeah.
Who made that up? Who made those accounts up?
I actually talked to the
get 600
guy.
followers quick.
I talked to the guy because I had a couple of articles that got put on his unbelievable, dude. Arsenal just ate him alive. Gabriel Jesus just that wasn't even that was a cross. It was a cross and a shot. Like, what was that? How do you get beat on that? Sorry, the game's 5 minutes in. I'm sorry. I just
no Atlanta United players are starting.
Exactly.
Yes, no Atlanta United players are starting. Tyler's no longer an Atlanta United fan. He's an Arsenal fan. But yeah.
I'm sorry, dude. You just chipped it over the top looking for somebody at the far post, and it went in.
That's cool.
What are you doing?
Nice goal.
Who's starting in net? Tyler Miller?
In a freaking DC, man. God.
Rocco's Rios Novo, the way that looked.
Rocco's Rios Novo. No, is it really Tyler Miller? Starting in net for MLS.
What, is Tyler Miller starting? I didn't even look. Was it him or the other guy?
Ramon Burke.
Yeah. I don't know who. I honestly didn't. I haven't checked the starting lineup. I just know Almada and Giakoumakis are not starting, which is
good.
Crime.
Good.
Yeah. I mean, it is good, but it's a crime.
No.
So yes, Scarves and Spikes here, your one-stop shop for all things soccer related, including the All-Star game, which is going on live right now. So yeah, it was the St. Louis keeper. Yeah. Sydney, what did you say his name was?
Ramon Burke.
Burke, that's right.
Yes. You know, just real quick, because I think fans are getting concerned here about the transfer window, and the more I thought about it today was because when we talked about this, I don't know, about a month ago, I think we were hoping to get rumors quick, get players in here fast. And I think I would have felt that way even more if we didn't have more rumors coming out at this moment. But you have Leagues Cup coming up, and then you've got the huge, I mean, depending on how far you go here, you know, on your feelings, if this team gets knocked out, you've still got time to get some players in. But you are running out, right? Like, you've got, 12, 13 games left, and you want to be where exactly what we were talking about earlier with Miami. You want to get as much chemistry going as possible to make a run, right? Like, we're not guaranteed a playoff spot right now. We are, we've had a couple bad losses and a couple teams have caught up. The lead on the playoff line isn't gigantic at this point. So, yeah, you hope that they can bring a couple more players in. And if it's somebody that's out of this country, you've got to go through the entire process of getting the visa, which takes a few weeks, obviously. So it's a concern because, you want them practicing, right? You need to start building that chemistry. And I guess that partially I'm worried and partially I'm not, because I know that you've got basically a month before the season gets back up and going. But I am curious on how many moves, because they still looking for a couple moves. Carlos also mentioned that there's a possibility of a couple players leaving. So I think people's eyes really started perking up when they see leaving, and then they see Josetu rumors. Still looking for a striker. So yeah, I don't know. Something's got to start popping up here sooner than later. It doesn't seem like anyone's going to be available for Leagues Cup unless you make a long run. But Mayumba should be ready, I think, by next week, by Tuesday.
You would hope. Yeah, would hope he is.
And really quick, going back to before Arsenal scored and I was having that rant, that Josetu rumor, I'll throw this out there. What the person who runs that page said, that came straight from Josetu's agent, who he's talked to before. This is not me. I'm just telling you what has been said and what
breaking
was told
news.
Directly. Yes.
Tyler says.
Nope. Cutting you off there. I didn't say this. I'm just letting you know what somebody.
It's out there that
it's not Tom Bogert the mustache. It's Tyler the mustache or the beard. Hey, the beard.
The beard's got it, man.
Yeah, it's out there that clubs are looking for, or probably look at Josette too. With multiple European clubs, I imagine lower on the table in like maybe second division or something like that. So it feels like that's the only report that's out there at this current point in time. There's nothing solid, but it looks like it's out there. So
Yeah.
I don't know how much credence to give it, but I don't know. It's out there. And yeah, I mean, like I said, silly season. I mean, things will pop up left and right. So,
I'll also say this too. If you look at the way that the lineups for Atlanta have been over the past month, Josetu is not featured in the same way that he was. So take that for what it's worth, but you look at the Gutman trade, right? And what happened with that. He didn't play that match prior. You look at a handful of other guys over the past year and a half that have been moved that they don't play. And that's not like atypical. Like that's not an Atlanta thing, but it does lend a little bit of credence to maybe like there is a team that's pretty interested and they're keeping tabs or whatever. We already know. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious what you're paying Josetu, the fact that you gave him an option. And now, if you're going to get rid of him and make any money off of him, you have to do it right now. You have to. Or at least like within the next 6 months, right? You've got to do it soon. So if you're going to do it, now's the time. Amar Sadic is doing everything that Josetu can do and then some for like a third of the price, admittedly. Ibarra's gone. Sosa, who knows what's going to happen with him, but he's not playing up to standard. But you got Miyumba that's come in. I don't know that Josetu is a guy that you have to have on the roster at this point.
No.
Think he's gone?
I think he's gone.
I just mean no. He should not be. No. It should be moving on.
I'll go buy the jersey if you want me to.
So I don't understand Doug's tweet though, because I saw that and they said, this won't affect our salary cap until next year, but maybe I'm wrong here. But if they did move him and said, hey, you know what, you can leave early to go start with your new team, right, to start their preseason or whatever, why wouldn't that affect our cap now? Are they just assuming that we're just going to let him go for free? I don't know, because it seems like people are making a lot of like straight comments, right? Like Doug, and I think even Joe said like it wouldn't affect us until next year, Joe Patrick. But like I think that's because they're just assuming that he's just leaving at the end of this season. But if somebody says I want him now, I'll give you $2.50 just to let him go early. Like you take that, right? And that opens up cap space for now. Okay, $2.75. All right,
$3.50.
Yeah.
I mean,
like
I think that's a valid point for sure. Like, I think if their offer comes along, you have to take it. If you're trying to make the moves that you want to make, and I'll go back to this. Atlanta in the past, since what's it? I don't even know. Freaking today is Saturday after the match. They talked about multiple, like not just Pineda, but also players talked about their goal is to make the top 4 by the end of the year. You're not doing that with this roster right now, unless you just get lucky. So we already know there's 1 to 2 players coming in. They say they have the space as it stands. However, let's just say that the Diego Rossi rumors are true and they got to clear up some space. I wouldn't be surprised to see Mateus Josetu go or Santiago Sosa go. Like that's not out of the question at this point, I don't think. So if it is a possibility, and I don't know that there's any player on this roster barring Almada, Giacomakis. I mean, I wouldn't even say Miles is in the conversation, because like Miles, like if you get a great offer for him, you would take it in a heartbeat because he's going for free in 6 months anyway.
I don't think they take it.
I mean, I don't know, but like at the end of the day, though, there's not really many that are just you can't hold them here for sure. Like I think the space could be there, and if they're looking for a big name and they just haven't said it yet, I don't know that anybody's off the chopping block.
I mean, Sosa would have been moved already if he was. They would have found something to keep Ibarra. I don't believe the fact that they say that, you know, they chose Sosa, right? Like he was the one that they wanted to keep. I mean, they say that, but I saw them blink 3 times when they said it, so
Yeah,
we know
so
it's
that-
not true. You don't just remove 2 starters, and I think that's just what, when people watch this Orlando game and they watch, what was the game? New England, like, yeah, you had 2 normal starters. I know Gutman was benched during the New England, or the game before that, the Philly game. I think he sat, but you just lost 2 of your normal starters, and you lost 2 games 2-1. Like, the world isn't falling on Atlanta United. Are we a top 4 team? No, absolutely not. But you just put this team in a very hard situation where you lack depth, and you just lost 2 of your starters. Like, it's difficult for any team, right, in a salary cap league to be able to do that, especially when your salary cap has been, not handled as good as it should have been over the past few years. So
Right.
I don't know if I blame Pineda on a lot of this stuff at this point. Like, it's hard to where you're going to be, and they played on Wednesday. Like, that whole situation, I heard Jason Longshore talk about it. You don't set up rivalry games like this. If you want Manchester United and Man City to play against each other, you don't have one team play midweek and you have the other team just sit around and wait for them. That's not something that you do. You want your 2 teams at the best. And I know Orlando and Atlanta isn't a huge thing in this league, but it used to be, right? Like, that was a big thing that they would always show on ESPN, that always get game of the week. It's still a rivalry, and I just think it was ridiculous that they had one team play midweek and the other not.
Yeah, and we can go for hours on this about roster rules and scheduling. But yeah, Atlanta may have been at a disadvantage, having to play, several 2 matches. You have several matches in the span of 8 days. And Diaz saying can't afford any desperation signings. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what comes of this transfer window. And don't mistake silence for inaction. Just because you don't hear anything, I've said before, don't assume that nothing's gonna happen. I mean, because just keep an open mind, keep a clear mind about it. Don't panic, because I'm sure the team knows that they need players reinforcements. And again, we can go on and on about who's coming in, who's leaving, and all that. But I hate to say trust the process, but maybe trust the process. And let's see who kind of comes in.
I think that's where people have the biggest
kind
issue.
of loaded statement there.
Yeah, I mean, I think Garth Lagerwey lends some credence to trust the process, but I think fans have been so hurt over the past 3.5 years of transfers where they're like, why would we trust this process? Because it hasn't turned out well at all. So
it sort of evolves. Trust the front office, and now people don't trust the front office.
Yeah.
So,
Colonel, I'll throw this out there real quick. Colonel saying Mike Conte, Jason Longshore were speculating that Inter Miami and Cruz Azul might take League's Cup lightly, helping ATL to get out of the group. I don't know why Miami would take this lightly. I think they would be stupid to take this lightly, because it's a chance to redeem their year and their season, and it's a chance to show off Messi, right? Like, I don't think they would. Now, Cruz Azul, I don't really know. I mean, Cruz Azul's not been great in Liga MX so far in this portion of their season, so I think they're kind of the wild card. But like, cool, if Cruz Azul takes it lightly and Atlanta beats them, and then Miami beats Cruz Azul, then like, cool, like Atlanta moves on and we can celebrate. I don't know that Miami's going to take it lightly, though. I'll throw that out there.
Yeah,
just as
I
a
think it'll
2
slowly for
cents.
them to
I
take it
just think they
lightly.
would be stupid to take it lightly.
Yeah, and like the comments here, like, I don't trust Boca. We're a mid-level team. We have a good starting lineup, and if you're healthy, I think this team can make a run. We've said this every week. Like, depending on some of the moves you make, like, you lost Ibarra, but Mamba is going to be big there. You still need to shore up your midfield, which is still kind of why I'm surprised. Like, they haven't really talked about any more changes. Like, you just had to get rid of Ibarra. Unless they assume that Sosa is going to continue to get better. I mean, Sosa was he didn't cover his guy on that Orlando goal on that set piece. Like, that was a big part of that play there, was Sosa not covering his guy. I don't know, like, what they're bringing in. All you're hearing is a winger and a striker right now. Those are the rumors. Not really hearing any more about the midfield. But we know that the midfield needs to be changed. And what's the other rumor? That we're going to bring in a DP. We're going to get him kind of towards that line, and then we're going to buy him down next season. I think that's the rumor currently out there, that what we want to do with the DP position. I'm cool with that, because if you're able to do that, and you say, like, you're going to move Almada, you will potentially have 2 DP spots then again next, in the winter, to be able to go bring in 2 more players to build your roster. And then you still have Giakoumakis, and then whoever else you bring on.
Yeah. Let's see what happens. And Garth is here, and he knows what it takes to win in MLS. And I feel like a lot of people will be more trusting of Atlanta United's front office with him in the fold. But I know we're coming up on 2 hours. I don't know if we're going to wrap up. Or
time flies when you're having fun.
It does. Time flies when you're having fun, for sure.
It's a busy one. Kurt was saying the conversation reference, the last thing was the Open Cup is a better match.
What do you mean?
I think saying, like, if you're going to pick one way into the Champions League, easier.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
Than the Leagues Cup, but I think if you're Miami, you go for it all regardless. But it's a good.
They want MLS Cup. I think they want there. I would rather focus. If I were them, I'd focus on Open Cup and getting into the playoffs.
For sure. And it's definitely a valid point. So yeah, I mean, but good conversation tonight, 100%. Like, but thanks, the Battered Herons guys, for coming on. This is a rare Atlanta week off. Now, that being said, they are playing next Tuesday against Miami, down in Miami. Watch along for that, right?
Yep, for Patreon. Yeah, we'll be doing a watch along, hanging out, talking about Messi, talking about Joseph, talking about Tata, anyone else Miami signs in the next 5 minutes. Yeah, we'll be talking about all that. And then what happens Wednesday? We have our show, right? And then we got another watch along that we're gonna do.
Well, we have a lot.
US Netherlands.
Yeah, so let's lay it all out real quick. Real quick. So that way everybody knows.
Good, because hold on, I'm gonna start series so you can start my scheduler.
Yeah, I know. For real, ahead. Dude. I'm like, I'm all over the place. So, all right, I'm gonna be at the Champions League matches next Wednesday. If anybody's there, holla at me. That's the second time I've said holla in this show.
Wait, where are you gonna be Wednesday?
Huh?
You said Wednesday?
For the Premier League matches, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
right. That's Wednesday.
Yep.
I feel like too we should put this all on Twitter. I mean, people follow us on Twitter, Scars, the letter N Spikes, and we'll lay it all out for you. But yeah, real quick, just go through.
Can you tag my wife in this so she knows what I'm doing next week?
For real. So yeah, we've got coming up. We have the watch along for the Women's World Cup, right? What day is that?
On Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yes, against the Netherlands. We have a regular show before that.
Yes.
Yes, 7 p.m.
But you won't be there, Tyler, right? Because you'll be at the game?
Yes. I will be all day at the Bins because it's Brighton and Brentford and Chelsea and Newcastle. So
what time are those games at? Like, what time does it start?
It's like all freaking day. It's like, I don't even know. It's like 2:30 all the way up to like the end of the night because you got both matches. So
wow.
It's a doubleheader essentially.
Yeah, but LA United versus Inter Miami on Tuesday. I watch along for that. Watch along for the Women's World Cup on Wednesday against the Netherlands. And then Thursday, just real quick, what are we doing?
Getting ready for the home match against Cruz Azul.
Cruz Azul, that's right.
Which will be Saturday. The match will be Saturday. The show will be Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
So
wait, so are we doing a show on Wednesday and Thursday?
We had actually talked about doing it Tuesday and Thursday, and y'all doing the watch along on Wednesday.
Oh, I don't know. It's been busy.
We're going to put all this on Twitter for you guys because holy crap, it is a busy week.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Check
whatever.
Twitter. Follow us
Twitter.
on Twitter. Scarves the letter N.
We'll lay it
Spikes,
out.
and we will lay it all out for you. That being said, patreon.com/Scarves and Spikes for the watch alongs. We're going to do the Women's World Cup watch along. We're going to do the watch along for Atlanta versus Miami in Miami for the Leagues Cup. So we'll have 2 watch alongs here in the next week. Make sure you come hit us up there. We'll have fun. We're going to be, I don't even know, we're going to be eating Cuban sandwiches or something for the Miami match.
We'll do something.
Australia food. I don't know what
bath
they eat in
salts
Australia.
Or New Zealand food. No, we're not
New
doing bath
Zealand.
salts. You can if you want. I'm not.
I had a friend that started a bath
Just-
salt business, like back when it was
just
like
being
key,
honest.
like people were zombies running around.
Zombies, yeah, in Miami
No, in Cleveland.
and Cleveland. Okay, that was the hotbed of the zombie apocalypse. Apparently,
Apparently.
Twitter, Scarves the letter N
Scarves, the letter
Spikes.
N Spikes.
Instagram, Scarves and Spikes. Our website is going to be popping off very soon. We have stickers. That's one of 4 that we're going to be selling very soon. So we appreciate you guys' support with that. Patreon, obviously, we have a lot of content over there as well. Insiders from the league, from MLS, from all over the place, just interviews that you can get, other content. Just, hey man, we got a lot going on. So we appreciate all y'all support 100%. It is
Thank you so
very
much.
well received and known by all of us.
Thank
We
you so much.
appreciate it.
Really appreciate
Yes.
it.
Light it up
Yes.
for
And there's the candle
for
for
Joseph.
Joseph.
buy
We'll
our
give it
sticker.
away at the end of the season.
Yeah, 100%. So, yeah, Colonel saying F a busy week. We need a time off.
Yeah, we're not.
We
getting
have no time
bro.
off. This is how
Yeah.
we roll.
All right, we're over 2 hours. We should get out of here.
Yeah, I gotta go watch.
We
Big
haven't done
Bang
a
Theory,
2
guys.
We haven't done a 2 hour
Season
show.
4, baby.
Okay, God,
I got
I'm
Blossom.
not surprised you're on
Blossom's
season
on the
6 by
show.
now.
Nope.
Mayan Bialik, Jeopardy host, co-host Mayan Bialik.
Arsenal's
Stop
winning
saying
2-0,
that.
by the way. We
What?
are the Arsenal.
I wonder what the final score will be when people wake up tomorrow. To
Right now, it's going to be 6-0.
6-0. Name
Unless they
your
put on
score.
Almada and Yakimakis.
Their last goal was a big banger. That's my theory.
Oh no!
God, a bazinga.
Bazinga!
End it now.
Bye.
See ya.